All right, everybody, throw away those white belts. Labor Day's behind us. And while we were on holiday, of course, the European Ryder Cup team was fast at work. Luke Donald was making some picks. But before I go there, of course, I'm Keith Stewart, your host of the RotoWire Rundown. Along my side is, of course, the senior golf writer at RotoWire, Len Hochberg. Len, did you do anything good this Labor Day weekend?
And this is going to be really sad to say, Keith. I started thinking about the Fortinet, and I mean my golf clock is completely out of whack. Thinking that the next season is about to start, and the existing season is continuing. So I was just focusing on that, and wow, what a fun guy I am.
I tell you, we must be equal levels of like golf nerddom because I spent my weekend following the Portland Classic for the LPGA. So I guess we're the right guys for this job. Now, what job is that? We got to break down Luke Donald's picks. So we're going to start with those six guys. And much like Zach Johnson, there's been a whole lot of chatter on Twitter, online, everywhere, social media. Everyone's got their opinion on the six. I'm wondering what your opinion is. Was Adrian Meronk snubbed, or are the right six guys going to Marco Simone for Luke Donald's squad?
I was thinking about that. I've been thinking about it, just like everybody else in the golf community. And my answer is maybe as, I don't know, benign as it sounds, is I think both can be true. I think Ludvig Aberg and Nicolai Hojgaard and Sepp Straka are the right picks. But Adrian Meronk has a right to be feel snubbed. There were just too many guys. They were really all close. I'm sure it really came down to the wire for Luke Donald. But as a just a bystander looking, I think Luke Donald got it right, and he would have gotten it right if Adrian Meronk were on the team as well. So I think they've got about as strong a team as they possibly can have.
Yeah, I think you're completely right there. I mean, at the end of the day, Meronk he really wasn't good against PGA Tour talent this year. He played in 9 events, missed 5 cuts. And then, of course, if you're going to put him on, who are you going to pull off? Aberg just won. We're not pulling Fleetwood off. We're not taking Rose off. Sepp was 14th at the Tour Championship. Is Hojgaard, Lowry was one of the few guys that won points in Wisconsin in the 2021 Ryder Cup. So then now who are we left with? Hojgaard? Hojgaard just finished 3rd and 5th in his last 2 DP World Tour events. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I feel bad for Meronk, but what have you done for me lately? And I think that those 6 guys have done more. Now, speaking of which, a lot of talk is going to start to get centered around each team has 4 rookies. And I started thinking about this, and I know you and I were texting back and forth. Who's going to have the better rookie class? Now, in my opinion, I think the U.S. gets a slight edge, but I'm interested in yours in a second. And I think they get a slight edge because, well, you think about it, Max Homa and Sam Burns really aren't rookies to team competition. We have the benefit of the President's Cup in off Ryder Cup years. So those guys have been, they've been in the fire a little bit. And then the other 2 guys, our other 2 rookies, they both won major championships this year. So, I mean, when we're talking about, Brian Harman versus Nicolai Hojgaard, I think the U.S. has an edge. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm of the same mindset. I mean, Harman, it was already thrown to the fire in front of European crowds and passed with flying colors in winning the Open Championship. Wyndham Clark has won a major, but he's also not young like Hojgaard and Aberg, who are 22 and 23. He's almost 30 years old. So there is that as well, even stepping aside from golf, just the life circumstances. These guys aren't far removed from college age. So I do think that the United States does have an edge there. McIntyre, only 27, sort of, also not far removed from the age of Hochberg and Aberg. So I do think the United States still has a strong edge in the rookies, and 4 rookies is a lot to have to throw out there. You can't hide them.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. The rookies are going to play a huge role in all of this and probably will help decide the cup. So now that we've seen the 12 from both sides, who's your early lean? Who do you think is going to win this thing in Rome?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be really tight, and maybe my viewpoint will change slightly as we get closer to the competition. But I think most people think it's going to be really, really tight. And even though I'm a little concerned about these two very young Europeans and how much they'll play, and if there's only one, they don't. Maybe you can get away stashing him 2 matches and hiding him a little bit, but you can't do that with two really young players. But
Right.
still, my thinking is that as we get closer, that this it's going to be so wild, it's going to be so lit. The European crowd is going to be so intense that and they have three of the best war players in the world. Duh, where did that come from? So I'm really starting to lean toward Europe here as we get closer.
Oh, Len, you're killing me. Come on. You're going Euro already with a couple weeks to go. I mean, I'd let you pivot last week, maybe if there was a storyline or something, but I am all team USA. And I'm telling you what, I mean, the odds came out. It's if you look across the board, it's minus 110 to win, and that was Caesars. Now, I mean, we're gonna take a Caesars line in Rome. You kidding me? I'm not, right? And the plus 130 on the Euro side for their win. So, the smart money hasn't moved it yet, but after the 12, we're all established for both sides. That's where the line sits. For me, it comes down to experience. I think the rookies are an edge on the U.S. side. And if you look at the overall record, the U.S. is 34, 22, and 13. When is the last time we've held an edge in Ryder Cup record? Because the Euros, they're 36, 39, and 12 for those that have played before. And a lot of those winning points are based upon Rory and Rose. There's a lot of guys like Rahm have only played in 2 cups. So for me, I'm definitely leaning on the U.S. side. I think that there was a little bit of like a coming together by the Xanders, the Cantleys, and the Schefflers, and the Spieths of the world. Those guys understand the pressure that they're under, that core group, the buddies trip. And I think they're going to go over there and they're going to break the streak. I mean, we have 2 of the last 3 cups. The trend is our friend. I'm going USA. So more to discuss on that in the future, which, speaking of which, if you love the rundown, check out Len and I every Tuesday here at RotoWire. Of course, next week, the PGA Tour is back with the Fortinet Championship. I know between now and then, Len is probably going to put out about 8,000 words covering just the course preview in Napa. So I can't wait to read all of that, and I can't wait to get back with all of you. So if you love the rundown, Len, have a great weekend. Get ready for the Fortinet, and we'll be back next Tuesday.